I think I'm blessed. I hope I live another 30 years. The youth want to try to make fun of you as you get older without realizing that that's the goal, right. To get older. Like, don't you want to live? I want to live. So I'll take 60, I'll take 70. I'm trying to do the Betty White thing, the Marla Gibbs thing. I want to live, work, and be adored all the way until that's it.
Can you talk about what your style says about you?
It always makes a statement. I was inspired by all the old movie stars like Garbo and Mae West and all that old glamour. As I have gotten older, my wardrobe has gotten more outlandish, actually, because I have the money to pay for what I want now. But even when I was dressing out of Ross Dress for Less, I always did a little something to my outfit. I'm here to make people not forget me.
Can you talk about the assumptions that people make about you based on how you look?
People think I'm happy all the time, and people think that I am just the greatest person to be around all the time, which is true 80% of the time, but 20% of the time it's like, I'll stab you. I'm really very bitchy and maybe a little selfish at times, In order to not get taken advantage of, you have to always think of yourself first. I think that people think that I have sex more than I do because I talk about it so much. I do, but not as much as I talk about. There's a lot of people who are unloved, unsexual, or having unfulfilled sex and lying about it and not talking about it. And I feel like the things that I talk about in my act are things that women and men in the audience are like, thank you. Thank you for saying that shit. Oh, I hope she was listening. I hope he was listening. There's just certain things that need to be said that people have a problem saying to each other. Mm-hmm. So then I say it. And I've had a lot of sex, so I know what I'm talking about.
Very sad to see all that come off.
It hurts me. I haven't had all my jewelry out since I went to jail.
What's the biggest insecurity that you're working on overcoming?
Body aging. Joan Rivers used to talk a lot about your body aging and how your boobs are gonna be, how your vagina lips are gonna be or whatever. And goddamn if she wasn't telling the truth, I had a good body when I was younger. Teenage body, like, perky ass tits and flat stomach, which is incredible. I would like to have a nice tight waistline one more time in my life, but my daughter has forbidden me to have surgery, and I don't want it. In my dreams, I have plastic surgery every night. In my dreams, but I'm never gonna do it. I don't want to wear a foundation garment for a year so that my body snaps into place. A year in the summer? All these enhancements, boob jobs and butt lifts and things like this. You get one thing done, you gotta get another thing done. Then you gotta get another thing done. It's a vicious maintenance cycle. It's really geographical. Like, I live in LA. This is the beach community and the beautiful people in Hollywood and movie making. I'm from Arkansas. Nobody in Arkansas cares about any of this shit. Nobody gets plastic surgery. Nobody has tummy tucks. Nobody has Brazilian butt lifts in Arkansas. They just don't do that. And those fat women is married and got husbands that's devoted to them. I would like to lose 60 pounds, but if I don't, I have to be okay with it. It's easier to just... This is what it is. And some people find that confidence attractive.
Can you take off your bracelets?
Okay. Diamond separation anxiety disorder. My heart is palpitating.
Why?
I feel like one of the reasons that Black entertainers wear so much jewelry, it's sort of a throwback to the change that we was in. And the diamonds represent like success. Like, I have something to show for it. Especially if you've done drugs before. If you've done drugs before, you spent enough money to buy this shit 10 times over, but you wake up the next day and you don't have any money. But now if I want it, I just get it, and at least I can look at it the next day. Hi, wrist. How you doing?
What would you say has been your biggest struggle?
Probably feeling filled up with love. That's been a struggle. I think that's one of the reasons I do what I do, because it's fun to have 3 and 5 and 700 people loving you all at once. That's a lot of love to get at one time. That's hard to get from one person. I'm the 8th of 8. I'm the chubbiest. I'm the shortest. I'm like the runt of the litter, so to speak. And then I was doing so many bad things when I was young. I'm sure that nobody thought that I was going to end up being successful. The incarceration that I did, and I was separated from my daughter when she was young, that was a motherfucking wake-up call. My crime was embezzlement. We can call it bank robbery if you like. I like that term. It's more street cred. I worked at a bank and I stole money from the bank, physically stole cash from the bank. I didn't do it for any other reason than I knew this bank was going to go out of business. I had been in banking for years. I'd worked for savings and loans and banks, and I knew this bank was gonna go out of business. They weren't doing their due diligence and what they were supposed to be doing. And I saw it and I knew it. Tellers in the bank, who are the face of the bank, they do the work, they interact with the customer, they get paid the lowest. And they're the ones who are handling the money every day. You see how much money people have, you give it to them, you make cashier's checks, you do their Christmas club, you know how much money people have, and you look at how much money you made. And it started to get to me. I was in the vault with this other girl, because you don't go in the vault alone, but when that bitch turned her back, I took this money and I just went, and it was a stack. It was like $50,000. I have big boobs anyway, so nobody noticed. And I worked the rest of the day and sweated that money wet. I took it and I walked out the fucking door. And I kept coming to work and everything like this. And for a brief time, I lived well. I did something for my family. I, drank champagne. I tipped $100. I did all the obnoxious shit that somebody who stole some money does. I didn't steal it to pay for an operation. I didn't steal it to help children in Africa. I didn't. I took that shit and just fucked it off. Then the feds came and they were like, blah, 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 blah. And I just copped to it. I said, yeah, I took it. So I went to jail and I was able to get out on my own recognizance because they didn't find any priors. They had another court date for me to come to be sentenced because I pled guilty. I didn't go back for that court date. I absconded and went back to Oakland, California. My mother passes away, I get pregnant the next month. When I had my baby, I applied for all the free shit you get when you have a baby and you're low income. WIC, food stamps, this, that. And when I applied for that, the Social Security numbers crossed up. And they came to the Bay Area and they got my ass and they brought me back to Twin Towers Correctional Facility. I did 4 months and 18 days. I missed my daughter's first Halloween and her first Thanksgiving. I cried every day. I didn't talk for 2 months, and I talked for a living. It was very traumatic, extremely. It was just a whole eye-opening experience. You go to jail for a weekend on a DUI, that's one thing. You go to jail with a new kid in a city you don't live in, that's a whole nother thing.
For 4 months.
Yeah. When I came home, I had a baby. And once you go to jail, you lose your apartment. And I had to rebuild, and then I did that through comedy during the holidays. Of course, that's not a thing you want on your resume, but being black and in America, I felt like it sort of gave me a little street cred, even though I was a woman and a mother. I already had a little don't fuck with me vibe. And then after I went to jail and came out and started doing comedy again, was popular again and was talking about this and that, it sort of was an attraction for people to come and hear me. One of the attractions that people tell me they appreciate about me is the honesty. I'm not ashamed of me because I made it. It'd be different if I stayed in some fucked up spiral and never got it together, but I made it, so what am I ashamed about? It's hard to keep up with all the lies if you're a liar, but it's not hard to keep up with the truth because that's just what it is. Take it or leave it, I don't care. Because the truth will set you free. I become a little more diplomatic in the truth that I tell. I'm not trying to really hurt people's feelings. If I do hurt your feelings, it probably is on purpose. I can walk around with my head up. I sleep good at night because I tell the truth. Mommy loves you. I'll be back soon. Being the 8th of the 8 kids, I wasn't raised with them. My father was murdered when my mother was pregnant with me. My father's 2 sisters and my mom were all pregnant at the same time. But my aunts lost their kids and could never have kids no more. And so my mother let my aunt and her husband adopt me, and that's how I ended up in California, and my brothers and sisters were in Arkansas. I resented my mother because I'm like, you got 7 kids to help you with this baby. You know, why would you give away the last kid that you have with the love of your life? Why would you do that? How could you do that? So I never really had the parental bond that people in stable families have. When I had my daughter, see, I tried to make up for that, especially being separated from her when she was young. I make her know that everything is possible. She's beautiful. You can do anything. I kissed on her, hug on her, smooch on her. I broke the cycle of not feeling love, although her father and me weren't together. So there's still a little bit of that, you know. But we have a good relationship. We're getting all together this weekend, you know, to go do a family thing. We're cool. I don't know what I would be doing if I didn't have my daughter. I don't know exactly.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be as together as I am,
right.
For sure.
When do you feel the most vulnerable?
Probably when I am in love. You know, I'm a Pisces, and I used to be one of them people like, I met you yesterday, I love you today. Yeah, you know, and don't let the sex be good. Oh, I love your ass like I'm in love. But that's not what it is. It's the infatuation stage and, you know, all the bells and whistles and all that shit. Check with me a year later and see where we at there. The next relationship I'm in, he had to be head over heels in love with me and have to be financially as stable as I am and need to spoil me and do some things for me that I've never experienced in my life. And if all of those things ain't happening, it ain't happening.
When do you feel the most beautiful?
Probably when I'm dressed up and stuff and getting ready to go on stage somewhere. Because I can put on the uniform. And they really don't see me. They just see all the razzle-dazzle stuff.
No, I think you shine through.
You think?
Oh, yes.
That's great to hear.
Pretty cute boxers.
I got a tattoo on this leg that says like daughter. Because my daughter has one that says like mother, like daughter.
What's your wildest dream?
Well, I want to have enough stability and finances so when something does happen to me, my daughter will be set. I don't want her to have to ask anybody for anything. That's why I got like 5 life insurance policies and shit. And I want my daughter to be able to finish living her dream like I'm doing mine. There goes my face on the rag.
Okay, so last question. Why in your body, in your journey, in your skin, why is it a good place to be?
I can make a life for myself without having to be dependent on anyone. Not that I don't want someone there, but I'm not dependent because I have made my child proud to be my daughter. I've left like a legacy, and my daughter, my future grandchildren, great-grandchildren will be able to see me and know me. And because the love that I've been seeking, I get a lot of now. And just because, basically just because I'm still here.
How do you feel now being undressed?
You know, it's not my preferred choice of attire in front of a camera, but this is what the assignment was, so I'm never one to not complete the assignment.